In years past, I traveled around much of the Southeast coaching competitive AAU basketball. Among the more than 100 games we played, one game in a very competitive tournament hosted in Memphis, Tennessee, stands out. In this tournament, my six-man roster of 15-year-olds got matched up in our first game against a more athletic and much bigger 16-year-old team from Arkansas who proceeded to beat us by more than 40 points. Winning the rest of our games, we ultimately met the same team in the finals, and seeing the overconfidence of their team as they warmed up to play us, and knowing we were overmatched and would need to do something different to compete with them, I changed the game plan from trying to run and gun with them, as we had done in the first game, to slowing the game down, getting their big man in foul trouble, which we did, and relying on one of our biggest weapons, several of our players who could basically shoot three-point shots from about any distance, and I'm talking any distance. And while we lost the game by only 1 point, I still felt like we won. Why? Because we played to our strengths and exposed their weaknesses. The game plan saved us and allowed us to be competitive with an adversary that was much stronger than us. Well, guess what? Just like an overmatched adversary in basketball, without a spiritual game plan, we too are overmatched to deal with an adversary that's bigger than life, one that the Bible describes as prowling around seeking to devour us. That's right, the devil. So when is the devil most likely to rear his ugly head and pounce on us? Well, apparently when we are worried and the most anxious. That's because as humans, when we get anxious, we are going to turn to someone or something for relief, and it appears from this section of the Bible that we can either choose to turn to God, who cares for us, or to the devil, who does not. In other words, the power the devil tries to peddle is already defeated. As Jesus said, the work is finished. And by faith, we can live a life of power over this adversary, but it's going to require leaning on God, not the world. Of this wonderful truth of God's grace and power over the devil, the late great writer Charles Spurgeon says, "Whatever foes may be before the Christian, they are all overcome. The sword that has been forged against us is already blunted. The instruments of war which the enemy is preparing have already lost their point. And finally, always remember that the fight we have right now is with a foe who has already been vanquished." In other words, no matter how anxious you are or worried about the future, remember, you have a God who cares for you and has already defeated the enemy. The key is to cast those worries over to God and rest in Him. You do that, my friend, and I assure you that the worries of the world will begin to drift away. And that's some good news you and I can take to the bank. Amen?
Thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed that video. If you'd like, check out these other clips. And be sure to hit that like button and that subscribe button for more videos.